This one says it has a metallurgist has one alloy at 47% aluminum. What is aluminum? Al? Is that the? I think that's we're gonna call it aluminum. It is Al. Do it. It is that for today. Okay. And then you got another aluminum alloy is 62% aluminum. So imagine you have a big brick of 47% aluminum and a big, well, a bunch of small pieces of 47%, and a bunch of small pieces of 67%. You want to mix up this batch of either 47% or 62%, and you want to make 52 pounds. Of 56% aluminum. Just like the last question we did, I'm going to change the numbers to 47%, 62%. Well, I didn't even change those percentages, did I? But that's the two percentages still. But the pounds is different. You want 52 pounds instead of, I think we wanted 43 pounds last time. And this time we want a 56% aluminum instead of a 60% titanium. So it's the same question, just different numbers. So what was the first thing I did in that other question? Yeah, we're going to use variables. You can use whatever you want. I'm just going to use x and y because that's normal. Normally what people do. So what do you want x to be with? You want x to be 47% chunks or 62% chunks? 47? Okay, now your answer is like in pounds, right? It's like how many pounds of this do you use and how many pounds of that? So let x be the number of pounds of 47%. And then what do you want y to be? Okay, so it is the number of pounds of excuse me, of 62% aluminum. Aluminium, if you're from across the pond, they call it aluminium. And the trunk of your car is the boot, and the hood is the bonnet. Crazy Brits. Damn. Anywho, so after you get your x and your y state, now remember this is not, you can't just say x is 47% and y is 62%. That doesn't make any sense because they have to be units to them. So it's the pounds of 47% aluminum and y is the pounds of 62% aluminum. Does that make more sense? Okay. So what did we do after that? Okay. We're going to make up two equations because it's a system. And x pounds plus y pounds has to be 52 pounds. Okay. Now you got to come up with your second equation, which deals with all the percentages. So the second equation deals with all percents. So basically, you take the same one you just had, you just slap the percentages on them. You slap a 47 up here, a 62 here, and a 56 out here. You just multiply each thing by those percentages. That's what locks in the question. That's how you know that you got the right answer dealing with these percentages. So 0.47x and 0.62y equals 52 times, what is it, 56%? 0.56. And well, I have to use my calculator on that, dude. That'd be 26, and then another 1.3, and then another 0.26, whatever. I just use my calculator. So 52 times 0.56, 29.12. Okay, that's what I got. It's kind of hard to see. So you can either scratch that out. I'm just going to scratch it out and say that that is 29.12. I think that's, I mean, that shows your work, right? I mean, you marked it off. You didn't erase it off or completely. Don't scribble anything out. You know, you want to make sure so people can see kind of your breadcrumbs. So now you're going to solve for one of these variables up top, plug it into the bottom. Which one do you want to use? You're going to solve for x again? It doesn't matter. Either way, if you solve for x, this gets replaced. If you solve for y, this gets replaced. And it'll give you the right answer either way you do. So it doesn't really matter which way you go. So we'll solve for x, you said, right? So I'm just going to say x, or x equals negative y plus 52. That makes sense? All I want to do is subtract the y off. That's what I'm going to do there to get rid of it. So minus y. I'm not trying to draw all over that original equation, so I'm trying not to do. Okay, so we get to there, then what do? Plug it in. So this would go in with the x or with the y. Which one does it get? It goes with the x, because you solved for x, right? So that becomes what I got underlined there. So I write that down, 0.47 times, in parentheses, negative y plus 52 plus 0.62y equals 29.12. Exactly like from last time, right? Exactly what we did from the, I mean, we're going to do the same thing over and over again. So I got to distribute my 0.47. So 0.47y, negative 0.47y. 0.47 times 52, I get 24.44. So what y'all got? And I just rewrite everything as it is. Just rewrite everything as it is after that. Last time we put these y's together, so we'll do that again. 0.62 minus 0.47. So I wind up with a 0.15y plus 24.44 equals 29.12. Then what you gonna do? Subtract this 24.44. So 29.12 minus 244, 0.44, 4.68. Now when you're doing this, I mean, you're just at the mercy of whatever your calculator says, so you have to make sure you're punching that stuff in right. Right? Right. Then what are you going to do? Divide. So 0.468 divided by 0.15, 31.2. Does that make sense? I mean, is that, well, let me ask you that. Does everyone get that answer? Everyone got that answer? All right. Now you go back up here. Y is supposed to be the pounds of 62% aluminum. So when I get my answer, I'll come down here and say pounds of 62% aluminum. Because that's what I said. That's what I told myself at the very beginning. Y is this. So if Y is that, I can find my X value real easily right here just by plugging it in. So the X value is a negative Y value plus 52. Does that make sense to do? I mean, surely that makes sense, right? You got to have 52 pounds worth. You already know you're using up that much, so you're basically just subtraction. It's the difference between them, yeah. So don't be, I was like, oh, I must plug it into this formula because this formula, it's just what you would normally do. I mean, if I told you it was.
So we take that formula, plug it into the next one, and then we take what we get out of that and put it back into that.
Yeah. You take this formula, plug it into this one, whatever you get out of that, punch it back in. If this wasn't such a nice little formula here, it wouldn't be. We were saying difference, that's right. But sometimes they're not nice little neat formulas, so you just punch it back into up there. That's all. I wound up with 20.8. Is that what y'all got? So that means we have 20.8 pounds of aluminum at 47%. So there's one answer. I have my other answer down here. Hawks, you punch it into the boxes that it wants you to, right? It will actually prompt you which boxes go with which ones. So it says right here, pounds of aluminum and all that good stuff. So to recap, you set up your equation, solve for one of the variables, plug it in, solve for that one variable, then plug that back in. But you know what? You know how to do this. Once you got one variable, you know how to do that. This stuff right down through here is the easy part, quote unquote. Okay, it's the stuff that you already know how to do. The hardest part is just getting this equation up and running. That's the hardest part, in my opinion.